Hello everyone. In today's video, we talk about how to teach your child to add and subtract. So first of all, we need to talk about what is adding. Adding is the concept of increasing an amount. So words like add, plus, sum, increase, more, bigger, these kind of words tell us that our answer should be getting bigger. Then we go into talking about subtracting. And what is subtracting? Well, subtracting is the opposite of adding. And in mathematics, the opposite operation is called the inverse operation. So likewise, it's the concept of decreasing an amount. So you have words like subtract, minus, difference, decrease, less, smaller. These words tell us that our answer should be getting smaller than what we started with. Here are some ideas for teaching adding and subtracting. Number one is probably the most common that everyone does. We start with verbal, with handwritten notes or handwritten examples for them to see. We then move on to flashcards, which is great because flashcards helps the student with accuracy and speed, which is what they'll need in the future. Number three, we then can use manipulatives. Okay, now this is hands-on, which is usually better for some learners because not everyone is great with just audio and visual, right? Being hands-on really helps them understand how to do these calculations. So for example, you can use popsicle sticks, you can use Lego, you can use money, you can use fruit, something that your child connects with or has interest in. So like maybe Hot Wheels or something small that's easy to organize and lay out for them to see and move around. The last one is going to be the number line. Now the number line is going to be the most important because it is commonly used in high school. You see it in grade 8, 9, 10, 11 mostly, and then by 12 you should have mastered all the usages of a number line. A couple of goals to keep in mind when you're teaching your child on how to evaluate how well their adding and subtracting skills are. Number one, of course, adding is the first thing we always learn, aside from knowing our numbers of 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. But you need to make sure that they're mastering adding first, using all of these methods that we've mentioned above. Now, the reason why you want to teach them all these methods is because the more methods that they have, the more methods they can use to solve a question. Remember, in mathematics, there's multiple ways of getting to the right answer. You can use any way you want as long as you can justify it properly. Number two, your student or child should know the answer without using a calculator within 2 to 5 seconds for these simple adding and subtracting questions. If it's a 3 by 3, then those get more complicated, but we're talking about the basic adding and subtracting of like 1 to 2 digit numbers. Ideally, we don't want your child using a calculator until at least grade 8 or 9. The later the better because they become dependent on it, right? Very much like how we become dependent on our cell phones. Any technology that makes things easier, they will directly default to it and forget all about the basics of what they need to know. Because without a calculator, they potentially will be doomed for certain sections in the future. And lastly, number three here is something that parents normally overlook, right? Have the student or child explain their thinking process. Now, this comes in really handy when we're talking about like word problems. And you'll see this very often in every type of section. So for adding and subtracting, you want to definitely go through some word problems to see can they get the right answer and have them explain how did they come up with that answer? Like what are the key details in the word problem that tell them to do this and then get to this and so on and so forth. So some of you might be wondering, well, how do we use manipulatives to show our children or students how to do addition and subtraction? So here, in these examples, I'll be drawing circles, but you can use, again, those popsicle sticks, coins, fruit, like grapes or something, Hot Wheels, Lego, whatever it needs to be done so they can see it and physically move things about. Here's the first one. 2 plus 3, so we'll start off with 2. 2 circles is the first one. And then plus 3 means that I need to increase it by 3. So I need to put in 3 more circles. So I just draw in 3 more circles. And then we ask, okay, well, how many circles do we see in total? So in total, there are 5 circles, right? And you can even number them off if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So likewise, you can see as the numbers increase, we're going to have to draw more circles. So 12 plus 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can organize these 12 however you like. Again, the more organized, the easier it is to see and to count them. So here we have 12 plus 6 means I need 6 more. So again, you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, it doesn't really matter how you draw them as long as you have them all there. Then again, the student or child can simply count them all and get a total of 18. For subtraction, it's a little bit different, right? Because we should be getting less. So how do we do that? Well, let's take a look. 7 minus 4, we'll first draw 7 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, minus 4 means that we need to take away or we need to remove 4. So you can either cross them out or erase them depending on what your child likes. You can show both. For this one, we're just going to X them out. So we're removing 4 of them. And then we can see how many we have left. So in total, we have 3 left. Likewise, with bigger numbers, it's the same idea, right? The first number is your setup, basically. So we want to do 16 circles. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's our setup. Minus 5 means we need to take away 5. So again, we can just cross them out or erase them. 3, 4, 5. So my final answer is going to be this amount, which would give us 11 if we counted those one by one. Now let's talk about number lines. Same questions, but this time we're going to be using a number line to show it. So the reason why we like number lines is because we're going to be using them for future concepts. So building on top of this right now would be great. First one is 2 plus 3. So that means I start at 2, so we'll count 2 to the right, 1, 2. Here is our starting point. So we'll put a point on the number line. We then add 3, which means that we go 3 to the right. So you can go 1, 2, 3. And where are you now? If you count them, you'll be at a position of 5. Now you can see if the numbers get bigger, our number line gets much longer. Now because we're under 20 or 30, it's relatively easy to draw, although it does take time. So I'm going to show you the starting number line to teach them, and then I'll show you the shorthand number line to make it faster for them. So 12, right? So we go, here we made intervals of 5, so 12 would be right over here. This is where 12 is. And also a reminder of using multiple colors will help draw their attention to what you want them to focus on. So maybe have like a black pen and a red pen or different colored pencil crayons so that they can focus on what you're trying to have them look at. Plus 6 means I go 6 to the right. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, this is our stopping point, and if we counted that, we'd be at 18. So the answer here would be 18. Now you can see here that this detail number line is great for like showing their work and everything. But once they understand that concept and they're like, I don't want to draw so much anymore, then you can go to the quick version, which I'll show you right below here. Here it just gives me a number line from 0 and just some number line. I put 12 in an arbitrary place on the number line where we know that positive 12 is to the right of 0 somewhere. And then from there, I can just simply start at this point, and I can say I want to move 6 spaces to the right. So I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I did that counting, it would bring me to 18. So you can see this second method is much faster, but it gets to the same answer using the same concept, just with less detail. Subtraction is going to be done in a very similar manner. So again, you can start here. So if we count the starting point at 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is actually all these points here. So 7 is over here. Minus 4 means we lose 4 or go left 4. So we can go backwards 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will be here now. So that means my final answer should be 3. A lot of times we like using the number line because it's like walking forwards or backwards. Your first number is your starting point, and your next number, depending if it's positive or negative, tells you if you're going forwards, which means right, or backwards, which is left. And the last one here, we have 16 minus 5. So again, in the detailed version, you have at 16 would be over here, and then minus 5, we go 5 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here, I am at 11. Just a reminder, a shorthand form of this, you can simply go line, bar, and then just put 16 somewhere on this line. It doesn't have to be fully accurate as long as they can use it to gauge what to do. So again, 5 backwards, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as long as you know that the answer should still be 11, then it's still the same thing. Okay? 0 to start with. All right, last bit of reminder, okay? As a teacher, we clearly can see various types of students all at once. So we get to experience something that parents normally don't. So just a reminder that every child learns differently. So the more methods you have in teaching them, visually, handwriting, listening, speaking, all of these methods, one of them will work very well for them eventually. You have to figure out what kind of learner they are. Secondly, every child matures at different rates. So we definitely have seen some students that are very mature for their age and some that will always seem less mature for their age. So the two types of learners, extrinsic versus intrinsic. Extrinsic learners are basically, they need materialistic goals and rewards. So, for example, the very common one here is when you're trying to ask your child to help out with chores and they're like, no, I don't want to. But then you give them money to complete chores or you give them like their favorite food. This is giving them a materialistic goal, right? If they do this, they will get this. Right? Now, you can use that same concept on how to improve their academic performance. For example, if they get 100% on a quiz or test, you'll give them $2 to $5 or $5 to $10, but it has to be 100%. Anything below, they cannot get the reward. This helps hold a standard and teach them how to study better in order to achieve that goal to gain that materialistic reward. You can also give them their favorite food or snack for achieving high grades. So, for example, if they got 95% and above, or an A is technically 86 and above. So if they get the A range, then you can reward them with like their favorite snack or something that they like. Eventually, though, the best learners are going to be the intrinsic learners. So in this situation, when they become independent and they want to learn and better themselves, this is a want that they want for themselves, not something that you have to force onto them. It is something that comes from within them. In this situation, they no longer will need materialistic items anymore, like money, food. That doesn't matter to them. They just want to perform the best they can and outshine their peers. You'll see that when they want to learn for themselves, that their work and study habits will improve because, again, they're trying to show everyone that they're better than everyone else. And they have that self drive to succeed in whatever it is they're doing. So that is going to be your goal for your child, hopefully, that they become intrinsic learners. And then you can just support them in however they need. Maybe sometimes they're trying very hard and they want to do very well, but like maybe the knowledge you don't have that, you can provide them with a professional, like a tutoring service or something that can boost them to where they need to be or where they want to be. So that pretty much does it for today's video. Please let me know if you like the information here. Leave a comment below if there's anything more you would like me to discuss or talk about. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you enjoyed it, thank you for your time. I'll see you guys in the next one.